So in this segment, we're going to be talking about Northern Ireland manufacturers say the Northern Ireland Protocol is the least of their concerns, which is interesting given how much the DUP and Liz Truss keep moaning about it. So manufacturers in Northern Ireland have ranked the post-Brexit arrangements for Northern Ireland as the least of the challenges facing their businesses, according to a quarterly industry survey, with 28% saying trade with the EU has increased over the last year. So Northern Ireland is actually doing fairly well because of the protocol. You know, they're becoming more of a trade hub. They can export directly to Ireland with no problems, which GB cannot do, and they can also export to other EU members with no problems. So the top concern was listed as labour shortages caused by the pandemic, but also the end of freedom of movement. You know, there are manufacturing in the UK struggling dramatically because of the end of freedom of movement, and that's also impacting Northern Ireland because Northern Ireland is just in the EU single market for goods, EU market and customs union for goods, but not in terms of freedom of movement. That prevents EU citizens living in border counties in the Republic of Ireland crossing into Northern Ireland for work. So that's a huge problem right there, that people within, that would have worked within Ireland, lived within Ireland, can now not cross into Northern Ireland for work reasons. I'm assuming they would need a visa. They can travel, but they cannot work. The protocol was the least of their worries, said Stephen Kelly, Chief Executive of Manufacturing in Northern Ireland. While we all get caught up in the political narrative, which it is very political and ideological really, about identity as well. Are they British, Irish, how does it work? And the Good Friday Agreement resolved that. But that's kind of gone now. Not the Good Friday Agreement kind of gone, but the fact is there is a border in the Irish Sea, and certain people within Northern Ireland don't feel like they're British, I suppose. So while we get caught up in the political narrative, in business, the bigger concerns are staff recruitment, productivity, and the pandemic itself, which all makes sense. It shows the narrative favoured by the DUP and others that Northern Ireland is going to hell in a handcart because the protocol is quite clearly not the case, quite the opposite. So the ones who argued in the DUP that Northern Ireland is suffering massively because of the protocol are, according to Mr. Kelly, wrong. He said there was a huge uptick in the number of firms accepting that the protocol is here to stay. And this is when, people like Sefcovic talk about certainty. The people of Northern Ireland need certainty. And it's very clear that, manufacturers, for the most part in Northern Ireland, see as the protocol being here to stay. So what does that mean for manufacturing in Northern Ireland? Well, sourcing, products or parts from GB is very difficult because of the checks. So what can you do in that regard? You can import them instead from EU member states or EEA members. You can import them from Ireland, France, Spain, Denmark, etc. Instead of going through GB, which, yes, geographically, it will take longer because of shipping. However, it won't have to go through all of the checks and the paperwork, which have a huge cost. But many want it to work through better simplifications of paperwork, which is what, Liz Truss and Sefcovic are working on, which is something we're going to talk about later on in the week. The survey reveals some businesses are now enjoying a Brexit dividend, with 28% saying they've experienced an increase in trade with the EU, including the Republic of Ireland. 2 in 5 businesses also want Northern Ireland's executive, the equivalent of the UK's government cabinet, to seize the unique opportunities the country has had to trade with both the UK and the single market, because this is something which the DUP want to kind of refuse that exists, but this does put Northern Ireland in a situation where it can become a massive manufacturing hub, because I don't know if the UK will ever do checks from goods going from NI to GB. At the moment we're not doing checks going from Ireland to GB, but I wonder, will we do check product? Will we? Check products going from NI to GB? I don't know, but it's clear that Northern Ireland's manufacturers want to seize on that. Businesses surveyed by MNI show that while it may not be a priority concern, many are still experiencing a negative impact of the checks and customs controls on goods crossing the border from GB to NI. However, the portion expressing concern in the last quarter is just over 50%, down from 77% in the first quarter. Now, the reason behind that is once the initial checks happened, especially given the government said there will be no checks, once businesses realised, oh no, we can't import things from GB, what do we do? That causes a massive concern and a massive problem. But I think once these manufacturers realise that we can't import from GB anymore, what are we going to do? And they start looking at other EU member states, and they're like, do you know what, we can import from Ireland, okay? We can import from France, Portugal, Spain, etc. Okay, so we're going to have to just shift supply chains. That's what we're going to have to do, and that's what a lot of them have done. The smart ones would have done this, before the checks kicked in, but some of the other ones would have done this as soon as they realised there was a problem. Unless you're the guy who runs M&S and you take ages to do the checks, at least ages in my opinion, to realise what the problems are, you should be fine. And to be fair, it looks like manufacturing in Northern Ireland is going to do just okay. So yeah, it does show you that the protocol isn't actually the biggest concern for manufacturing in Northern Ireland. Their biggest concern is actually the end of freedom of movement. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.